In the new millennium, young people constitute a majority of the world's population. We will inherit the outcomes of current political decisions. We are the greatest silent victims of this earth. And in 2004, I was selected to represent Australia as the youth representative to the United Nations General Assembly. And this documentary is a story about voice.
Life Matters on ABC Radio National, and we're continuing our theme now of new beginnings with a particular emphasis on the challenges people face when they build a new life in a new country by meeting a young woman who's at the beginning of her life and her career, Cat-Thao Nguyen. Cat-Thao is Australia's youth representative to the United Nations General Assembly. She's also youth chair of the Ethnic Communities Council of New South Wales. She won Young Australian of the Year with Bankstown City Council last year, and she's a student at the University of Sydney studying commerce and law.
I travelled around the country, and that took me to the East Coast, West Coast, North, South, everywhere. And I was overwhelmed with a sense of responsibility and that we aren't doing enough for marginalised people in this country.
She's the chair of the Ethnic Communities Council of New South Wales as well, and she's in Tasmania this week talking and listening to the state's youth about their concerns.
There's been an address to the GA regarding Australian young people and the issues that young Australian people face, as well as world youth in general and the vision forward.
Walking into the UN and just seeing all these diplomats and these ambassadors and all these people working towards, really collective goals of peace, of justice, of human rights, and despite there being political differences. And I felt that I was part of this engine that was working towards global ideals for humanity.
My name is Samira Afzali, and I work with the Global Youth Action Network in New York. So basically like an organization that tries to network with other organizations that already exist, youth groups, youth NGOs.
I don't feel nervous as such, but excited. I'm a little bit blasé at the moment. I think that's a proactive strategy to being blasé.
Any last minute advice?
I guess.
Not on film.
Okay.
Mr. Chairperson, as the Australian Youth Representative, I'm honoured to address you today.
Mr. Chairperson, as I travelled around Australia for 1 month, I discovered that in areas where young people are not supported as adequate social and cultural contributors to their community, there was a higher rate of juvenile crime and detention. But the issues facing young Australians are different for diverse sections of the population. For many Indigenous Australians, retention rates in schools remain very low. For over 40 years, Barry Abbott has looked after young people on remote cattle stations in Central Australia through a program that teaches them about their culture, their self-worth and existence. Voices may originate from whispers. Whether from a developed or developing country, young people must and should be able to contribute today to the world that we live in and to the future that we will inherit. If you so desire, the young people of your countries will make it a reality. I hope that you will genuinely hear the whispers that will one day become the voices of change. Thank you.
Mainly the work involved two different things: working with the third committee of the UN General Assembly, which was human rights based work, and the other hat was working with other youth representatives of the world, the UN Focal Point on Youth, international youth organisations. So essentially it was about programs and policies for the development of young people of the world. So there was an organisation in New York called Directions for Our Youth, and they had been liaising with the UN Secretariat to invite people to deliver motivational presentations to public high schools in New York that had students of disadvantaged backgrounds.
Okay, so g'day everybody, g'day. We survived. And sometimes, and this one man actually, I remember, he said, I met him, he goes, you know what, the first refugees that arrived from Vietnam, I welcomed them. I welcomed them. And he looked me in the eyes and he said, for every one of you standing here alive, another person died. And I think about that and I think, why was I given a life? Why was I given a chance? Yeah. Are my parents proud of me? You know, I would say yes, but I think I placed so much pressure on myself because I saw so much suffering that my parents went through that I put it in my head that they would never be proud of me. Like anything that I do will never be enough, you know. But after a while, I learned to accept the fact that they are, and I just had to be happy.
Hello, Australia. We are right now in the heart of New York City at Murray Bertram High School, downtown Manhattan. My name is Ashok Kamal. I'm the Director of Programs for a great organization, Directions for Our Youth, www.dfoy.org. You know, you can get online anywhere in the world. Thao just came and did a phenomenal Map for Life presentation for our students here today. So we send you back to Australia, I guess, in a few weeks, and they'll be lucky to have you back as you continue to do your great work throughout the world.
Having been born in a refugee camp, growing up with the settlement struggles of a refugee family, including working in a sweatshop in Australia, travelling this wide country as the youth representative, meeting with international agencies and young people of the world, I've been extremely privileged to know the diverse stories of humanity. We're living in an era of immense complexity, environmental threat, war and fear. And for me, one thing is clear. Whatever destruction that is occurring to someone else on the other side of the world, it is happening to a fellow global citizen. It is only through this lens that we will be able to imagine and build a brighter future.